Hi, I'm Brian King, and this is Marriage Monday. Have you ever stopped to think about what's being marketed to you as a married man, as a married couple? The world is selling a version of marriage that's broken. Let's face it, far too many people are buying it. Everywhere you look, the message about relationships is not about staying married. The message they're giving you is there's something better, just around the corner. It kind of struck home to me when I listened to a show that Oprah did recently on. No, I don't normally watch Oprah. It's just she was talking about gray divorce, and I was thinking, oh, great, word's getting out. She's sounding the alarm that people don't want to have to go through this, and that they can how to avoid getting a gray divorce. But instead, it was marketing. She had examples of it, but basically the overall feel for it when you were done was, hey, this is the newest trend. This is what's coming. This is what you should prepare for. You're going to get old and he's going to leave or she's going to leave. You better get ready. It's marketing divorce. I was hoping that she would be sounding the alarm so that people could be, not prepared for divorce, but take action early to avoid it. But instead, it was like, don't miss the newest trend coming along. All your friends will be doing it. You want to do it too, so act now. Hey, and if you don't want to do the gray divorce, act now and get it out of the way early and start over. Just crazy. Everywhere you look, the message about relationships is about not staying married. Sure, sex sells, but have you noticed that the kind of sex being sold is rarely about married love? Hardly ever. It's usually the opposite. It's usually the cheap, casual, and completely detached from commitment and depth and real intimacy. It's just sex. There's no commitment or anything that goes with it. The TV and the movies, they don't help either. Married couples are usually and often shown as annoyed with each other or boring, or they're battling. There's always that at odds with each other. Sure, some of it's funny, but is it really doing anything to sell marriage? No, it's selling the opposite, actually. Lots of times when a marriage is shown as healthy on screen, it's often just a setup for one of them to cheat so they can make a funny story about it. Even the commercials, drink this. You'll have a pretty girl hanging off your arm when you do. Buy this car, it comes with a girl. Take this drug, you'll be happier. And the disclaimer on it should be girls sold separately. Because it's not marketing marriage, it's marketing the exact opposite. Even the lawyers have gotten in on it in the commercials. There's a local commercial running right now that somebody comes out and says, is it cheaper to keep her? And then the lawyer comes on and says, well, usually not. Call us, we'll help. We're here for men. No, you're not. You're there for money. Divorce is a multi-billion-dollar industry. B with a billion-dollar industry. Sure, an uncontested divorce might run $3,000 to $5,000 in legal fees, but once there's assets and custody or anything that involves going to court, you're looking at $20,000 to $30,000 or more. And that's just the legal fees. That's not counting the emotional cost, the impact on the kids, or the years it will take to recover. They're not helping. They're selling a product. They're marketing divorce to you, whether it's, through the talk shows, through the print media, through the movies and TV that make men look like idiots. Sure, you can find some good examples of marriages if you really look hard enough. Go back to some of the old TV, but for the most part, it's junk. It's not really anything that's helpful to marriage. So what's my point? Well, be aware. Let the buyer beware. Always kind of keep in mind what they're selling, and then don't buy it. Your marriage is not disposable. It's not a product that if you don't like it, you can take it back. It's, not returnable. So when things get tough, don't just think, well, I'll just change it and I'll get a new one. No, it's just going to be the same thing, except on repeat. So fix it. It's worth fighting for. It's a lifelong commitment. Keep it and make it work. The happiest, most fulfilled people on the planet are married couples in a working relationship. The ones that have taken the time to cultivate that relationship and make it work. They're the happiest people on earth. That's not what's being sold. As a matter of fact, they almost make it sound like you can't be happily married. Well, that's a lie. Why? Because they're trying to sell you something. Whether it's a divorce or a drug to make you forget about being married or whatever, or the next thing down the line that's coming that you don't want to miss. No, don't buy any of it. So here's the challenge. Guard your mindset. Like I said, be aware that the messages that are out there are very negative towards marriage, and don't let them shape your view of marriage. Protect your marriage. Don't let the media or culture define what love looks like, because they've got it wrong. Instead, invest in your marriage. Take the time, take the effort, take the, if it's broken, let's fix it instead of replace it. Change that. Make that your attitude. Oh, it's broken. All right, it's not what I want it to be. Well, do I return it? No, fix it. It's fixable. Sure, you're going to have to put some effort in, but it beats the heck out of starting all over, especially after you've got a lot of years invested. If you fix your marriage and get it to the point where you're happy, then you have something that some of the richest men in the world don't have and can't buy. That is how valuable your marriage is. And the world wants to sell you something other than that. And it's basically, they just want to profit off your failure. And like I've always said, why do you want to take a really, really long time to lose instead of fixing it and making it work? And then you have something that's valuable. So invest instead of looking for an escape pod. Your marriage is the most valuable relationship you'll ever have. Don't sell it short. Not for what the world's selling. They don't have a clue, but you do. That's it for today's Marriage Monday. I just wanted to encourage you to continue investing in your marriage and realize how valuable it is. Don't buy what they're selling. Talk to you next time.